All right, so let's look at counterexamples. Counterexamples are fairly simple. A counterexample is just something that proves a statement isn't true. So we were talking about, it's an example that follows the hypothesis, but not the conclusion. Okay? So, for example, if I were to put, all these markers are rolling everywhere. If I were to make the statement, if you're in my second period class, then you're a female. That's a conditional. If you're in my second period class, that's my hypothesis, then you're a female. That's the conclusion. Well, I can show a counterexample that's not true. I can show that if I follow the hypothesis, if you're in my second period class, I can show an example that shows you're not necessarily a female. It doesn't have to follow that conclusion. And all I would have to do is name one male student. That's enough to make it not true. One example I gave the other classes, if it's a prime number, then it's an even number. Well, how about 5? 5 is a prime number that meets the hypothesis, but it's not an even number that doesn't meet the conclusion. So let's look at this one. Give a counterexample for the converse statement in example 5. So example 5 is the one we just did, okay? Example 5 says, if it is an obtuse angle, then the angle measures 120. My counterexample could be any angle that's obtuse that's not 120. 95. 127. 179. These are all obtuse, right? So they fit the hypothesis, being obtuse, but they don't fit the conclusion. The angle has to measure 120. These aren't 120, but they're obtuse. So these are counterexamples that show that my original is not correct. Let me give you another one. Okay. If you play in the NFL, okay, then you are right-handed. So here's my statement. If you're in the NFL, then you're right-handed. My hypothesis is you play in the NFL. So to show a counterexample, all I have to do is show somebody that fits this, that plays in the NFL, but does not fit this, being right-handed. That's how you do a counterexample. So all you have to do is find one person. And me being a Cowboys fan, I know that's a little depressing this year so far, I would have to say my counterexample would be Dak Prescott. He's my counterexample that shows that this statement is not true, because he fits the hypothesis. He plays in the NFL, but he does not fit the conclusion. He's not, I meant to put left-handed here. My bad. I meant to put left-handed here. Dak Prescott is right-handed. So if you play in the NFL, then you are left-handed. So Dak Prescott plays in the NFL, but he's not left-handed. He's right-handed. So that's what would make this incorrect. Sorry for the error. So that is what a counterexample is.